I'm sorry, we did not get your name. After the tone, please state your name, followed by the pound sign.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to our WebEx tonight. If you are just getting on, if you don't mind hitting, star 6 will mute your call so it limits the background. Mike Del Dio will be leading this, and we have a bevy, an array of guest speakers tonight. Jody Barrett, we have Katie John, and we're going to be just talking about these subjects, and Mike's going to take it from here.
All right, thank you very much, Susan. I'm very glad that everybody was able to make it tonight. Thank you for logging on. Like Susan said, we're going to be going over the topics that you see in this first slide here: I-9 verifications, active class action reports, the Outlook email accounts that everybody should be assigned, the paperwork submission, the W-2 changes that we have, or excuse me, the when to work, when to work changes that we have coming up here. The equipment issuance and maintenance, and I don't know if you guys are a little familiar with that, if you've already received equipment, and also I think the decontamination process as well during that time. And then at the very end, we'll give you guys a little bit of info on an e-time/concur WebEx that we're going to have coming up, I believe, next week. So, the guidelines for this WebEx, like Susan mentioned, if you're just logging in, please press star 6 to mute your phone. If you can, do not hang up right away. We will collect the attendance for this WebEx at the end of the WebEx. We're going to call everybody's name, find out who was able to see the WebEx. If you are not able to see it, we'll collect your name and information after that is done. And then we will send you, and I believe everyone else as well, the PowerPoint along with all the documentation and the stuff that we have going on with the WebEx. Let's see. What's the next one?
And just a quick reminder to everybody that's a paid instructor, make sure you punch in and out, and make sure if you didn't punch in and out that you put this time in your e-time.
Okay. Sorry, just to make sure everybody's on the same page. If you can, make sure to hit star 6 on your phone, and then that'll mute your line so that we can keep the line clear. Thank you. Last important reminder. So, we're going to be going over the I-9 documentation process. That's still going on right now. We're going to try to make sure that everyone's paperwork is properly up to date, and we're going to go over how to get that done. We are going to be talking about volunteers. This evening we're going to kind of lightly go over how volunteers are going to be logging in their hours in volunteer connection. And then also we're going to be talking about, or actually, just so you guys remember, it's really important to go in to when to work and to put in your availability at the beginning of the month for the next month. So you see the example there is for February, and then you would go in on January 10th. Well, this is February. So to put in your availability for March, you would go in by February 10th and put in your availability so that we can assign you for next month classes that are coming up. Just as another reminder, we want to make sure that you guys are putting in your time into e-time and approve your e-time before Friday. The week timesheets are due. And also, if you're going to be, what I'm telling everybody is to try to get that done by Thursday night. And then let us know if you guys are having any issues or problems that way. By Friday morning, we can, you guys can call us or let us know what issues you might be having, and we can help you get that done before the last hour comes on Friday, and we have to have everything turned in. And also, if you are going to be working Friday, you just project your hours for that day. And then you can kind of just look into when to work and see what those hours are going to be and put that in your time already. CAP surveys are required for all classes, community and full service. This is a really important document that we need everybody to fill out for all the classes that they teach. I know some people were a little confused and they said that they thought it was just for community, but it is for full service classes as well. And when you go to turn in these CAP surveys, if you can, you're going to scan them to Katie or our administrative coordinator. And when you do, try to make sure that you scan your roster in one document over to Katie, and then in a separate document, you're going to scan the CAP survey all in one scan and double-sided. It may sound kind of redundant to say that, but we have had an issue before where students received 12, 13 different, PDFs in our email, and it was all, they were all separate CAP surveys for one class. So to keep her email from getting super clogged up, it would just be a great idea to scan all of those CAP surveys in one scan, double-sided, but separately from the roster, just to keep things organized. The next slide is going to be
real quick, I'm sorry, I just want to note, I made a mistake because I didn't update this slide. Katie is now our new scheduler. She's our training scheduler. She's one of two, and she is still doing double duty. So she is also still filling in for an administrative coordinator, which we have not hired yet. So what I should say is that you just scan them to our PHSS email box, and it goes to that email box, and we'll be able to get those entered by our wonderful volunteers. I just wanted to note that. Sorry, Katie, I'll fix it for Thursday.
Okay, so like Susan was mentioning earlier on our agenda, just quickly, we're going to be going over the after-class action reports first, how to fill them out, and why it's important to use them, the I-9 verification, the process, why we need to verify them, and then also how to complete those, using your Outlook emails. The paperwork submission, that's mainly going to be covering rosters and the different paperwork that you have to turn into the admin. The changes coming to when to work. I believe that's going to be covered by Katie. And then Susan, I believe, is going to be covering the equipment issuance and maintenance. Why we're giving out equipment, and then how to properly take care of and decontaminate the stuff that you're using. And then, like I said earlier, we'll just have a little description on the e-time concur WebEx that we have coming up next week for those people who need a little bit of help. So, the first thing is after-class action reports, which I believe Jody is going to be doing.
Yep, that's me.
Jody. All right, so Jody's going to be talking to you guys about the after-class action report.
Okay. Hi, folks. Welcome. And the after-class action reports are something that we really needed to be doing this for a while. But like so many things, we're a little behind. And so all instructors are needed to complete an class action report. It's an important document, and it's really set to support you as an instructor. And I'll get into that in a little bit more on how that supports you. It serves as a quick summary for how your class went. So in the report, and I'll show you a report in a second, there are questions that say, did you have access to equipment or supplies? And, if it's yes, then the page pretty much is yes, if you had a perfect class. Katie says it should take you 30 seconds. Is that right, Katie?
About, yeah.
30 seconds. She thinks it's going to take longer for you to load up your computer than to actually do the report. And this is something that you do on your computer. So So one question is, did you have access to equipment? And if not, then you put what happened. You know, did the was the remote not working? Maybe the DVD player didn't work correctly and you needed to adjust something, or you had a hard time with the television set. You know, those kind of things that happen, we all know, in classes. It's an important thing to put down. Did you have any issues with any students? And this is a really good place for you to mention if you had walk-ins or people who were late for the class or people who were unsuccessful in the class. And then make sure that you put their names down. Then if you're teaching and this can happen in a community space too, but usually not. But in a workplace place, was the space adequate? Because sometimes we all know we get put into a teeny space with too many people. So it's an important thing that we write that down so that we can let our sales partners help us to make our classes more successful for the participants. You know, I mean, squeezing everybody in is not a great way to do a class. Were you able to finish the course in the allotted time? You know, so that would be, you know, maybe the walk-in person came in and didn't want to leave right away or was having issues, and you ended up being 10 minutes behind the class, you know, those kind of situations. Can you go to the next screen, please? Okay, so here's what the action report, the top of the action report looks like when you load up the link, and you're just going to select your state, territory, district, your name. You're going to just go through all of this, and sorry, I only did one screen of that, but you can go to the next page. That's fine. Oh, there we go. Okay. So this is the link on the top. This is the link that will get you to that page. So it's a real good idea to bookmark this link and use it after every class. There are hard copies of this, and I'll show you one of those in a second, and they should be in your instructor box. If you don't have them, contact Angela, and she can, you know, send you some. Use these to jot down issues that might happen during the class. So if you know, a good suggestion is to take one of these with you to your class, and then you can keep notes on it and keep it with your roster as a record. But then you also have it as a little memo, so that when you get in front of a computer, you can use it as a little cheat sheet and go in and put the important information on. So use these to jot down issues that might happen during a class: failed student, physical emergency, student complaints, meteor strikes the facility. Sorry. Then input information as soon as you can get on the computer. Sorry, we need a few laughs in this, we thought. If your computer isn't working, please scan the report to either Michael or myself. So, and if you aren't really sure who your manager is, you know, just send us a note and we'll let you know. Any way we can help you. So would you go to the next slide, please?
No.
Oh, there we go. Oh, who's saying that?
If you just logged on, if you could hit *6 so that we can minimize the background noise. Thank you.
Okay. This is a tiny print. Sorry about that. Of what the page looks like in your instructor box. And this is going to be the page that you can jot your information down. And then, like I was saying, make sure you then get on a computer as soon as you can and input it and send it out. If you have any issues with that, any questions, please contact Michael or myself. And that's all.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jenny. That was awesome. Debbie said if you guys ever have any questions about how to turn that in, or if you need a copy of that, you can either ask D'Angelo or me or Jody, and we can send you a copy. Or you can call us or email us, and we can definitely help you with it. The I-9 verification process. This is something that we've been talking about for a while, and we really need to get going with getting this all completed. If you guys remember, each of us were all required to complete an employment eligibility verification form, or I-9, when we were originally hired. This was probably paper-based, and it was kept in hard copy files. But on March 31st, 2012, the Red Cross migrated over to the HR Direct Access system. And when that happened, most of the employees' information was uploaded automatically, but for some reason we were not able to transfer the I-9 data when that happened. And because HR Direct is now our official HR system, we need to verify current I-9 information with all employees. So on the next slide, we're going to talk about how to complete the I-9 verification. It's really easy. It sounds like it's kind of complicated, but it really isn't. First, all you need to do is contact the liaison, or the I-9 liaison. I'll tell you guys who that's going to be later on, because we have 3 different people who are going to be doing it. At the bottom of this slide, you'll see those I-9 liaisons are Susan, Katie, and Noreen. And they're going to be covering different areas, and we'll see that on the next slide. But on this one, to complete the form, you have to go online. It's really easy. There's a link that we're going to send you guys. I believe actually we have that link embedded into the next slide as well, but we'll send it to you. And if you just click on that link, go to that page and fill out your information. You must complete the online form 3 days before meeting with your liaison. That's really important, because if you do it 4 days before you meet with that liaison or earlier, then you're going to have to do it all over again when you go to meet with that person. So it's really important that you only do it about 2-3 days before you meet with your liaison. Filling out that form is really simple. It only takes about 5 minutes to do it, so it really doesn't take very long. When you meet with your liaison, you must bring an ID from the list of accessible documents that we will send to you as well. Actually, we did send out, me and Jody have both sent out emails about the I-9 verification process already. So most of you should already have the directions on how to do this with the link, along with the list of accessible documents that you can bring with you to meet with your liaison. But we'll probably send that out again if you don't have it. And if you don't, and if you really want to make sure you have it, please make sure to email us and let us know, and we can make sure to get back to you. And like I said, the I-9 liaisons are going to be Susan, Katie, and Noreen. On the next slide.
Yep, and very quickly, just so everyone knows, on this call, we have volunteers and paid staff. So this particular project only pertains to our paid staff. And so if you're a volunteer, there's going to be some things that pertain to just volunteers, like putting hours in volunteer connection. But this one only pertains to our paid staff that receive a paycheck. Because the I-9 is just verification that you're eligible for work. So just a quick reminder.
Yeah, that's totally correct. I totally forgot to mention that. It was only for paid staff. So if you guys need it, if you guys are paid, make sure to contact us. So, meeting with the liaison for the I-9 verification. I wanted to make sure you guys knew that, speaking of let everybody know that in Oakland, she'll be there at the Oakland office on February 12th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So she'll be there all day. And if you guys email her or call her, you can schedule a time during that day to go over there and verify all your documents and your ID and get that process taken care of. If you look on the page, you'll see that Susan's going to be covering Napa, Sonoma, San Francisco, Oakland, Alameda, and all those areas. So if you live in those areas, that's who you're going to want to contact. Katie's going to be covering Burlingame, Union City, and some of the areas surrounding that. Noreen is going to be covering San Jose and all the areas from San Jose, I believe, south. So if you live in any one of those areas, that is going to be your dedicated liaison. So you're going to want to call that or email or call that person. I listed their emails there so you guys can at least have that contact. Just email them and set up a time. And remember that you should not fill out the online portion of the I-9 only 3 days before you're supposed to meet with that person. Up to 3 days before, no sooner.
Perfect, thanks. And very quickly, I will also be in Santa Cruz, and that's on Tuesday the 11th. I believe some folks do already have an appointment to come in and do their I-9. Jody will send out another email to all of the paid staff out there just to remind them, just shoot me an email with the best time so that, we can book your 15 minutes and get that done as quickly as possible.
Yep, 15 minutes is really quick, so it doesn't take very much time. So the next thing we wanted to talk about was all of our paid staff using the redcross.org emails that you are provided when you're hired. This is definitely required, and it's usually just your first name dot your last name at redcross.org. It's required because we really want everyone to have a Red Cross email when contacting customers to verify staff information when you're doing full service. We've been mentioned that, we just don't want to have an instructor contacting the client from a Yahoo account or a Gmail account. It's definitely a lot more professional. And it instantly verifies you as a Red Cross staff member when you contact them from your Red Cross email. And not only is it's important not just for that, but also because that's going to be our primary means of contact when we try to send the information. So when we send out updates on staffing changes or anything like that, we're going to try to send it to your redcross.org email address.
I'm sorry, Mike. Can I just say, there's some background noise, so I just want to make sure everybody has their phone on mute. Thanks.
Nope. When you're contacting the client, we also have 2 email templates that we have written up for you. The areas that you're going to need to change are in gray. We're going to email those to you guys so you have them for your use. You're just going to change the date, the type of class you're going to be teaching, the person that you're going to, and then you're going to write in all the contact information and anything of note that you need to add for your own notes. But for the email template, it's already written up for you. You just need to add in your personal information and then put that in, copy and paste that whole thing into the body of your email and send that to the client. You can also use this redcross.org email to log in to chapter computers. So if you need to complete your e-time or do any kind of exchange work at all, you can actually go to a chapter office and log into one of the computers using the redcross.org email address and the password that you have to log into that email. They're actually the exact same login information for the computers at chapter offices as well. If you have a personal email account that you'd like to use and you don't really want to use your Red Cross email or you don't want to have to check it all the time because it is required that you check once a day, you can have that redcross.org email forward all those emails to your personal email. So that way it goes from there to your personal email, and that way you can check it if you need to from your phone or any other device. And the reason why I put that in is because I've been through this process a bunch of times where if you put it on a personal device, you're going to have to encrypt that phone or that tablet or whatever it is. Mainly if it's mobile, and you have to put a password on it and whatnot. So if you don't want to do that, you can have your information forwarded to your personal email. If you cannot get into that email at all, if you forgot the password or if you're just having problems logging in, there's not much that we can do for you. But if you call the IT service desk for assistance, they will definitely be able to help you log in. They can help you with password recovery, resetting anything that you need, and then getting you into your red cross email. And not just that, but just like I just wanted to make sure that I reiterated the fact that this is required. So you guys should really try to get into your red cross emails as soon as you can. Find out if you're having any problems with getting in, and start using your red cross email. That's it. The next thing is the proper paperwork submission, which I believe Katie's going to be covering.
All right, hi guys. So I'm just going to go over a couple of things with rosters with you. So we're going to start with community. So this is in all of the instructor boxes, and if you look at the top left-hand corner, you guys are going to see example of grades. And I'm sorry that this is a little unclear. This is a scanned copy, but this is what your rosters look like to me. So I wanted to share in that. So we have S for successful, NE for not evaluated, and U for unsuccessful. And I know for most of you, this is going to be a real boring review, but I do want to let you guys know it was extremely hard for me to find a perfect roster. So, while it may be boring, please hang in there because I think it's a good review for everybody. If your name isn't put in on the instructor section, or you're a co-instructor and your name wasn't entered on the roster when it printed out, please make sure that you write that down because that's something that we go back and we change because we want you guys to all get credit for the classes that you teach. And underneath, you guys see that big oval? Okay. That is where you're going to put any walk-ins. If you have any issues with your class, write it on your roster because I'm going to want to know about it. Because if you say, this person showed up 15 minutes late or 25 minutes late and didn't let them in the class, they missed too much, write that down. Just don't write not evaluated or late because if that person calls and complains, I want to be able to back up your story. So please make sure that there's never a thing of too much information, it's always too less. All right, and you guys should have a copy of how to do this. And if you notice, there's information that's been added into this roster. So if their addresses, their phone numbers, their emails are not put in, please make sure that they add it because there have been cases where we have to go back and try to contact them. For some reason their cert didn't get sent out, so we need to do a hard copy cert and mail it to them. And we need that information if that is the case. All right, so the next slide is an example of a fantastic roster. All right, so on this one, we see the grades are entered, the additional information is put in, we also got phone number added, but if you look at the top right corner, you want to circle that for me, Mike? There we go. All right, we have the case number, we have the agent's name, and we have the time it took for all three rosters to be put out. And now, I crossed out the offering ID and the instructor information because nobody's business is roster is fantastic. Now, what I want to say for you guys is it's really, really important that I get that TSC information from you because we have had some issues with the TSC in the past, and I'm sure there will be a little bumps in the road in the future. And having that information down really just cements the fact that you guys are doing your job. That it's not on you, it's on somebody else. And we want to make sure that the process is as smooth as possible, so we want to figure out who needs a little bit of coaching. So please make sure that the case number, the agent's name, and the time is put down because, you know, if it's taking you 2 hours to close out a class, that's absolutely insane, and that shouldn't be the case. And we want to make sure that we minimize the time you spend on the phone with the TSC as much as possible. So, next slide, Mike. All right, now this is an example of a walk-in. So I chose this one because they added the agent's name, the case number, the time it took to call in, they had all the grades down. Didn't get all the additional information in on the roster, but that's okay because it's not perfect. You see, it's hard, right? But they did have a walk-in. So they put the grade of the walk-in, the name, and they got all of the contact information of that walk-in. Now, this person was able to actually have the person call the TSC, and then they added in their order number at the corner on the bottom. Okay. Ideally, you guys have walk-ins call the TSC and get registered before you deliver the class. But if that's not the case, leave the walk-in, the order number blank. You won't have one. and I will add them in on a form that I need to fill out so the TSC can contact them for payment. It's really important that walk-ins are put underneath the grades, because I've gotten some really, like, walk-in names written on napkins before and stuff, so let's not be crazy. Because it's hard to read. All right. So, next one, Mike.
And actually, very quickly, Katie, I just want to say this is pretty close to perfect. The one super important thing we want to get is a phone number, too, for just in case if something happens and we have to contact students. Not everyone checks their email regularly, so it's super important to get that phone number. Thank you. And that just helps our customers. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to play my favorite game, and it's Find What's Missing on That Roster. All right, so next slide, Mike. Let's see if we can all do it. I kind of gave the answers away. Now, this one actually doesn't have very much missing, and I've erased all names on this and dates, so you guys don't know whose roster this is. But I'm not going to lie, this is what most of the rosters look like. Okay? So the address is the same for all of them. That's really common because they're putting down their company address. Now, this person did get almost all the phone numbers. There's a couple missing. If you notice, it's the third one down. Mike, you're super close to it. And then he did get all the emails. Now, the thing about this roster is I bet everybody can do it. Because if you look real close at the computer, it's really hard to read, right? Okay. So this is just a perfect example of please, please make sure that everything is clear. And if you notice that there's some scribbles written out, this roster is actually really hard to figure out who's who and what email belongs to what. So this was me calling an instructor, trying to figure it out, going over it on the phone, and that just takes a ton of time. And I know you guys have the ability to read, and I know you guys have the ability to go, nope, this isn't right, and rewrite a roster for me. Because what's 5 minutes of work for you ends up being 45 minutes of work for me. All right, so next one.
Well, wait.
And very quickly, what Katie is also trying to say is ultimately it's about the customer. Whether we're in a community class or a full service class, we're not just trying to save, be productive and efficient. It's that these folks, like this person right here, Sunder, here's Sunder, and then we have, I'm not sure what happened here, but if we don't know what his or her email is, they will never get a digital cert. So it's really about serving our customer, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to help folks. We teach them the life-saving skills, but these folks also need their certification. And if we don't have that, we just won't be able to do that in a timely way.
All right, and thank you for mentioning that, Susan, because it is true where I will get full-service rosters that just have a couple of emails missing. It'll almost be perfect, but there will be 2 students missing. And I have to try to somehow figure out how to get them their rosters, and it is kind of time-consuming. All right, so next slide. All right, so I bet you guys can guess what's missing on this one. All right, so I know we've said it a couple of times before, and I know most of you guys are doing a fantastic job filling out your rosters now. I did want to mention, one phone number for everybody is usually not the case. So try to get their individual phone numbers down, because if there is a problem with them, it's a lot simpler to just contact the person and say, hey, I can't read your email. I really want to make sure you get your certification. Can you please let me know what your email is? Okay. Now, I hope everyone on this call knows that we cannot send all of the certs to one individual email. Every person on this roster must have an email written down. If they don't have an email for those few cases that person just, for some reason, hates electronic mail, they like the old school paper mail, then let me know and I can actually mail them their certification. But for that, I need their address. So again, really be sure that you have all the contact information. All right, next one.
And very quickly, Katie's just doing that so that we can get them, the information, get them their certification, or have the TSC get the student their information. any delay in getting this information from the customer, from the instructor end, it just delays the customer in getting their certification. If they ask you when you're teaching why they need to give it to you, please be transparent and tell them the truth. So you know what? We deliver certifications digitally now. If it's your mom's email or your husband's or your wife's, you at least will have immediate access to it. We'll be able to issue it to you, but if everyone has their supervisor's email address, no one's going to get it. Or just that one person who attended, everyone else won't be delivered. So it's simply a matter of, I think, be transparent as possible, because I think that's what students want to know. They just want to know how they can get the information.
All right, so next one. All right, this one, I actually really liked most of this roster, with the exception of the blatantly obvious missing emails. All right, but I want to point out, this person did a fantastic job making sure that the names were written clearly for the most part, and I really, really appreciate that. I do want to point out that this person didn't actually put grades. So dashes, happy faces, stars, those aren't grades. Keys aren't used anymore for pass. It's either an E, an S, or an NE, or a U. So please make sure that you guys follow that template throughout all your rosters. And again, please make sure that you guys are getting the information so that we can get the certifications out to those people. And I know on every single one of these rosters, we were missing at least 1 or 2 emails or more. So it really is important. I know most of you guys are doing a fantastic job on getting all this information out, but it is still fallen through the cracks a couple of times where we have big missing chunks of the roster like this. So please make sure that you take the time before you leave the facility, make sure that your roster is accurate. All right, next slide.
Katie, I know you're probably going to say this, but I also wanted to note how neatly the names were written here so that there won't be any misspelling on those digital certs.
I know, that was fantastic. I definitely have seen an improvement with you guys, and I really appreciate the effort. Sometimes I still get those little squiggly lines, and I'm like, I don't know if that's a G, a 2, maybe it's a Z, and then I have to walk around the office asking people. So I really do appreciate just the easy-to-read words. It has really made it help. And if you guys notice, most of these letters are capital case, and that really, really helps because it is much easier to read capitalization than it is somebody's cursive. So thank you for whoever did this roster. Really just wish you added the emails. All right, so next slide. All right, this is what everybody should be familiar with. We've seen this in community classes, not as often anymore because we do have those printout rosters. And these are very common for people that teach at the full service classes. Please make sure you fill out all the sections I have boxed red. If something happens in the class that they all of a sudden want paper certs, that's what the comment section is for. Please make sure that you guys fill out the date the course started, the course name, the code, how many students are enrolled and passed in each component. I know in all your instructor boxes you guys have a list of the codes. Please make sure that you are using them because not many people are. Now on the training site information, I do want to point out, because I have had a couple of rosters where this has popped up, the name is the name of the organization that you're teaching, not the name of the location. Because some organizations like, I don't know, well, Jody gave me Wells Fargo. Okay. So Wells Fargo, you know, we went there and taught, but we were at a hotel. Don't put the hotel's name, put Wells Fargo. So whatever the name is on when to work, that's what goes on there. Because I got to tell you, when I go to Hyatt, and then I'm freaking out thinking that I don't have an agreement, so I go to sales and it gets complicated. So please, just make sure you're putting the correct name. Make sure that you sign it. And then for the bottom for the certification, for the most part it should be digital certs, with the exception of people that want a printed out copy. At the very top, I even wrote this in red, okay, please fill out your name completely. There are a bunch of people that still write on file. Don't do that. Actually put your name and your email, and you guys should be using your Red Cross email. So Should just be your first, last name at redcross.org. Hopefully, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I have all the faith in you guys. I've been there. I know what you're doing. I have all the faith that you can fill this out. Because otherwise, I'm going to go crazy one day. And you'll have to deal with me losing my mind. All right, next slide.
And Katie, I appreciate that because I'm an instructor too, and I know it takes time, you guys that are on this call. It does take an extra 30 seconds or so to fill this out, but please recognize that it may not always be Katie doing this. We might have other staff helping us with course records and processing. So please kindly don't make the assumption that, we know you, we appreciate you so much, but fill out the information so we have everything. It makes it easier for us to get the information into our learning management system database.
I do want to say that you guys have done a really fantastic job of doing it lately. I've had very minimal issues with rosters, and as I'm moving more towards the scheduling aspects of my job now, I do just want to say, whoever takes over my position, try to make it as easy on them as possible because it's not an easy gig. All right, so for the next slide, I do want to point out I have boxed everything in red that's really, really important. So we have the course name and the code, your name, any co-instructors, and the date of the class. And then we have components and grades, the name, the address, the phone number, and then the email. Now, if you guys notice in the corner of that email section, you can use the whole rest of the page, all the way to the margin, to write that person's email. We don't need the rest of that information, so feel free, use it as much as you want. Okay. Now, please make sure that if you are writing down the components, okay, that you do not pass somebody, and this is especially important for full service, if they only take the first aid and didn't take the CPR, they didn't take the whole class. That means they are unsuccessful in the whole class. We do not pass people in small section of the components anymore. We haven't done that in a while. And I know that's a bad habit to break because you want them to be successful. You want to give them a certification. But they did pay for the whole class. And that really confuses billing, and it becomes a huge complication down the road. And they have to be put on a different course record altogether. So please make sure that if they fail one component, they fail the class. Hopefully that doesn't happen very often. I think if you explain the situation, they're more likely to stay throughout the class. And it's really good information that we're giving out. And that's what we want with our students. All right, I think that's it for rosters.
All right, and can I ask, there is someone who hasn't quite muted their phone yet, unless it's the background in Burlingame, but I hear some people talking in the background. So if I could kindly ask everyone to mute their phones again, I'm sorry. I have very sensitive ears.
It's not us. This office is dead over here. Just me and Jody hanging out.
All right, thank you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, so the next thing is, I know a bunch of you have been given when to work updates in your emails, and for those of you that have contacted me and Noreen, I apologize for this. We did send out an email letting you guys know that when to work was under construction. Please make sure that if you did get an email saying your shift has been changed, that it really is just the positions that have been changed. So still, everything else should really be the same. I want to point out that the changes on when to work are really, really minor, but I think you guys are actually going to enjoy it a little bit better because I personally think it's a lot easier to read. So we are going to use abbreviations now. So for a first aid, instead of writing out first aid, we're just going to do an F and an A. So for adult CPR AED, it's going to be an A/CPR/AED. So this is very similar to what you guys write on the roster. So I think this is going to be a more universal way for everybody to view their schedules, transfer it to their roster. That way the information is really just the same. All right, and I think you guys will be able to take some time, especially when March is really up and running and you guys are scheduled, to really see the differences. I hope you guys enjoy them. I think it's a lot easier to read, and we have changed some of the colors. So the full services are going to be black now, so it's not that annoying orange anymore. So I say enjoy, because I know most of you probably aren't staring at the window work screen for hours on end like I do, but orange after a while, let me tell you, it gets a little blurry. So I really think you'll enjoy it. If you have any questions at all, contact me or Noreen, and we will help you out with understanding. Now, we know that we offer more classes than what I'm showing you guys on this PowerPoint. All of the abbreviations and what they mean can be found on the Window Work bulletin board. So feel free. I highly suggest you guys go in and look at it, or even print it out and just carry it with you from now on. All right, next slide. All right, so this is going to be an example of what we see from now on Window Work. Okay. So at the very top, where it's shaded blue, we have SA, CPR. Now, we will not have St. Louis, which is a shame. They have fantastic food there. Okay? But we'll have dash Bay Area or dash San Francisco. So if you are teaching in the San Francisco office, that's where it's going to say it from now on. It will not be below your name and below underneath the time. That's great. So it'll say FA/CPR-Concord. So it's going to be more office specific. If it is a full service class, it will still have all that extra information in there that you guys have been getting used to, but it's also going to say FA/CPR Bay Area, FA/CPR Silicon Valley. So it's going to still have our broad areas that cover a wide terrain, but it's also going to have our specific offices, which I think is going to be fantastic with our volunteers, because I know some of our volunteers don't teach in every location, and I think this is really going to help us out so we don't have them mixed up, where we accidentally send a volunteer to Concord when they live in San Jose. So, yeah, I think you guys are really going to like it. We're going to use the abbreviations for full service as well as community. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me and Noreen.
Awesome.
Thank you, Katie.
All right.
Okay, sorry.
Never mind, go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you. I'm gonna, first of all, I wanted to note that we do have a lot of volunteers and a lot of paid instructors on our call tonight. So I wanted to review a couple of things we talked about last month, just to reinforce to you our commitment to our customers. The first thing is some of our vision on the NorCal coast is that, above all, we're always looking to serve our customers' needs. I mean, I wouldn't have a job unless we had customers, and all of our instructors, volunteers, or otherwise, we need to have students to teach. So one of the things that we're trying to do is trying to collaborate so that we can succeed in meeting all of our customers' needs. And that is going to involve a lot of change. And the third bullet does say adapt to our changing market. Those of you on the call that are relatively new will see in the future that we do change rather rapidly, and a lot of the reason is due to the market needs and our customers' needs. We do have changes more in administrative procedures more frequently than we do have changes in the actual documents we use or the course content that we use. And I know and I appreciate and I sympathize that it's difficult, because change is difficult for us because we get comfortable in something. So I commend you, all of you on this call, and everyone who's not on this call, that you guys have done an amazing job with an inordinate amount of, it was just a huge shift. And I believe that we've really turned the corner, and I've heard from a lot of instructors that the students are saying they like blended learning, they like the digital cert. So your effort to adapt to the changing market and to collaborate with us has really helped. And we are gathering and providing feedback. We're both gathering the CAT surveys We've also issued, or we had issued that instructor satisfaction survey, which we do take seriously, and we are trying very hard, and I hope you'll let us know if we're doing better on this, because we're going to try to give more feedback to you as team members, and we're hoping that we can collect feedback from you. And we need it to be honest. We need your candor. We trust you, and we want you to trust us so we can make the team better and we can make the organization better. And a lot of you have probably, heard this or have heard from Jody or Mike. They are trying to come out and observe or as a peer or co-teach some classes with you guys. And some of you have also been paired with a mentor instructor, if you're a new volunteer instructor or a new paid staff. That's also a great way for you to get and give feedback. I've had a couple of one-on-one calls with paid and volunteer instructors. I'm going to continue to do that. The one thing I value most of all is honesty. It may not be easy for me to hear, but I really want to hear it. I really want to help you. I really want to help the Red Cross be as good as it can be. So make sure if we are asking you those questions, please be honest. And I thank you for it in advance. The other thing that part of our vision is to increase our volunteers, because our mission is really to harness the power of volunteers. And it's going to make us a stronger unit. It's going to make us a stronger organization. And we have recently recruited and are in the process of onboarding more than 30 new instructors. And these are volunteer instructors. We also have some new paid staff. And this is great because we're going to learn new things from each other. And new people that come on board also have fresh ideas, and they're also innovative. So there's lots of ways that these folks, our volunteer instructors and our new paid instructors, can help our team be even better. I want to talk about equipment issuance. There has been, and I understand that some people are questioning, why do I have to clean faces? Why do I have to clean mannequins? Before, I used to just be able to leave it in the tractor and it would magically take care of itself. And I mean that because we have staff to do that. I'm very transparent. Some of you know this, some of you don't, but we did have a significant change in our staffing levels about 2.5 years ago. Then about a year and a few months ago, we had another shift in staffing structure. This means less staff. Part of the 2012 migration of our instructors from chapter employees to national employees was the issuance of a new job description. Now, for most people, as an instructor, whether a volunteer or a paid instructor, part of that was to maintain equipment. For some of you, you were fortunate enough that you had folks there that could help you out with it, whether it was a volunteer or a paid staff. We just simply do not have that. We don't have that, and, we incorporated this into the job description so we could have everybody meet that same standard. I had that same standard as a paid instructor and a volunteer instructor in Virginia and Maryland. It is something that's realistic. You can do it in the time allotted. I think there is, that historic relationship, and I think it's organic because your students can also help you. And our logistics specialist, Angela, can also give you tips on how to do this. Mike and Jody, your specialists, can help you. I can be a resource. Katie is also an instructor. We can all help you, at least give you some guidance. We have written documentation that we can issue to you on how to clean equipment. I'm going to briefly go over some things, and we're going to send this out to you so you have this, and you can work with your specialist or your logistics person if you have more specific questions. Volunteers are also asked to do this. We do need everybody on board, paid and volunteer staff, to wash faces, to wipe down mannequins, change lung bags, or throw away lung bags, depending upon the equipment. A couple of tips, and this is really as a courtesy and in light of collaboration. If you use the lab coming in there, they may need some of that. Example, you arrive at a class and you use the last 12 resuscitation masks. We need more resuscitation masks. Please let our logistics specialists know, because we can get those there fairly quickly, but if no one lets us know and a couple of days go by and another class is occurring and the instructor gets there, 30 minutes before class or 45 minutes, sometimes it's impossible to fulfill that need as much as we want to. We also ask that you leave the facility with this. If you could mute your phone. I hear some background. I'm not sure who that is. Thank you. When you arrive at a facility, in the classroom, there are 10 clean faces. You have 6 students. Please take the time to wash the faces and put them back so the next instructor that comes in has the same number of resources. It's like renting a car. You rent a car, and they tell you, would you like to return the tank full, or would you like to pay $50 a gallon? And it's you want to return it with a full tank because it's more efficient and it's more cost efficient. Same thing for us. If we leave, the facility with the same number of things and in the same working order, it helps the next person. It helps them be more efficient. Again, I am going to talk, and I'm going to reiterate this lot. It is collaboration. We cannot do it alone. Not me, Jody, Mike, Katie, Angela, or Noreen, or Anna when she comes back. Sarah, all the folks on this call, volunteers and paid staff. No one can do it alone. We need you. And we need you, to help us do this so we can better serve our customers. There is specific mannequin decon information on Instructor's Corner. We're going to send you a handout. Honestly, I've done this myself. I did it for 11 years as a paid instructor and 3 years as a volunteer. It shouldn't take you more than 15 or 20 minutes. If it is, let us know because we can help you with that. There's bleach and alcohol, which are appropriate to use. We mostly do not use bleach in the chapter facilities because it ruins the carpeting if you spill it. And invariably, that's what happens. I've done it myself. So what we do is the chapters ask us to use the alternative, which is the isopropyl, minimum 70% alcohol. Students are great helpers. As they're doing their end of course scenarios, if it's a full class or they're finishing up their blended learning, they're happy to wipe down the mannequin. It shouldn't take them that long. And it also reassures them that indeed we do clean the mannequins. We do decontaminate them. I know we're running out of time, so I'm going to go through this sort of quickly. A couple of tips. Make sure your students do use the restroom, take a quick break before they use the mannequin or remind them to wash their hands. Try to avoid them eating or drinking while they're actually doing the skills because that's not good, and it will also contaminate the mannequin. It just causes more, instead of chewing gum, a lot of you know that you just tell people that what they need to do, wipe up their lips, put out their gum, don't eat while they're doing the skills. Make sure they use their own breathing barrier. And if it's necessary to decon the mannequin between uses, for some mannequins it's required, for others it's not. But if you have a mannequin that's damaged in any way, cracks or rips, that cannot be decontaminated. That does need to be thrown away, and you need to let us know, let your logistics person know or your specialist know so we can replace it. And we'll send you all the decon information. After class, all the mannequins, as soon as possible after class, they need to be cleaned and they need to be restored. So put them back in their bags, put them back on the shelf. The mannequin faces, whether they're Annie faces, the Laerdal Annie faces, or they're the little Ambu faces, they do get washed with water and they get decontaminated. And make sure you do wear gloves during that process. If you do need more equipment or there's something missing at a facility, if you notify us, and if you're not sure who your logistics person is, if you let your specialist know, we'll connect you and we'll get you the information. you need and also the resources you need. We are asking for some help. We have a few people who are helping us at different facilities that are going to help us restock and just keep track of some of the materials in-house. A quick review, just so you guys know, some of you may not have seen this before. This is an Axtar mannequin. The Axtar mannequins are great. They come 10 to a pack, and each person gets their own lung bag. You come in a lung bag pack of 50, and the faces stay on. They just get wiped down in between you switching the lung bag. These are layered up. That is the manufacturer. We have little Ann, baby Ann, and little Junior.
Still going on.
So
it's still going on.
I can hear you. So whoever is speaking right now, if you could kindly mute your phone. Sorry. Thanks. I'll try to hurry up. The different parts of the mannequins, if you do use these, they do come apart, and we can help you with that. Laerdal is different than the Axtars, and of course we also have the Ambu mannequins, and those are different from the Axtars and the Laerdal. For both of these, it's one face, one lung bag per person, and we usually have lots of faces for these mannequins and lots of lung bags. These are the ones that just the faces are decontaminated afterwards. All right, sorry, one more topic, and then we are done. Thank you for listening.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Susan. This is just a really quick one. It's nothing too crazy. We just wanted to put this up there so you guys knew that next week we were going to be having an e-time concurse WebEx for those who need the help. We're going to send everybody an email with the information in there, but I just wanted to include this in there so that you guys can see that we're going to have it on Tuesday, February 12th at 6:30 p.m. We'll send you the WebEx login information and the conference call number so you guys have all that. We're going to go over the codes to use for e-time, how to update, how to approve, creating expense reports and whatnot for Concur. So if you have questions or concerns about that kind of stuff, that would be a great WebEx to attend. Because we're going to go through all of those things in as much detail as we can. So you guys should get a lot of really good information on that. The important reminder.
This is Terry. You got the wrong date. Tuesday, February the 11th.
February the 11th. Oh, sorry, it's Wednesday then, not Tuesday. Sorry, that was my fault. So it's actually Wednesday, February 12th. Thank you very much, Terry.
You just gave me a heart attack.
No problem. So yeah, Wednesday, February 12th at 6:30 p.m. The next thing is the important reminders. We're gonna send out some information on how volunteers are going to be logging their hours and volunteer connection. Just as a reminder, like we said earlier, remember to put in your availability and when to work by the 10th of every month for the next month. So this month you put it on the 10th, which I believe is Monday next week for March. And then make sure that all of your hours are in e-time and approved for the week before you get paid. So you want to go in Thursday night and approve all of your time. If you have any questions, please contact me or Jody, and we can help you with getting that information inputted into e-time correctly. And again, making sure that you always complete the CAP surveys or have your students complete them for all classes. Because there are some people who are confused about only doing it for community. It is for both community and full service. And then when you pack and scan those copies, you're going to do your roster in a separate scan, and the CAPS surveys in another scan altogether, double-sided. So it's only two full scans, the roster dedicated and the CAPS survey, all in one. And that's it. I think we're just going to take attendance to see who is on the call. Let's see. All right.
Yeah, I was going to say, is there anybody who just called in and wasn't able to get on the WebEx? Because I'm going to export the number of the participants in the WebEx. I just wanted, I know I heard a couple people couldn't get onto the WebEx. So is that Nicole? Yeah. Nicole Bay? Okay.
Yeah, Eric Leong, I'd like the PowerPoints. Actually, for the last two sessions, I haven't been able to pull up the PowerPoints. So if you could send them, that'd be terrific. Thank you.
Right. The specialist should be sending the whole package immediately after the Thursday one. So you should have, and if you don't have the one from January, Jody can send that out to you. Thank you, Eric. Anyone else who is just only able to log on by phone?
Wanda Ryko.
Okay, thank you.
Bob Sundin.
Thank you.
Did you get me Wanda Ryko?
Thank you, Blanca.
And Wanda, W-A-N-D-A.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
And I was able to access the slides in the first two WebExes, and then after that, I've not been able to access the slides.
I'm sorry.
No matter what I try.
Okay. Well, we'll get that to you.
Did you get Kirsten Cooper?
Hi, Kirsten. Thank you.
Ian Wiggly. John Cortinian.
Hi, Ian. All right. Who else?
John Cortinian.
Hi, John. Thank you. Anyone else by phone only?
Kathleen Scanlon.
Hi, Kathleen. Thank you so much.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hi. Anyone else that was only able to get on by phone?
Oh, no. Sorry.
That's okay. All right. So I have, you can either raise your hand electronically to signify you are still conscious and in the room and watching the WebEx. Beatrice? Okay, I see David raises. Sarah? Dom? Doris? All right, David, Dom. Excellent, Sarah. Everybody's raising their hand. Excellent. Gary, I'm glad you guys are still with us. Thank you.
Joanne Burns, I don't know how to raise my hand on the WebEx.
That's okay. That's fine. Thanks, Joanne. I got everybody else. Okay. I got it. Mike, thanks for you. Okay, Houston, thank you. All right. It's Joyce on the phone, so I know you can't raise your hand. Not while you're driving. Please don't do that. All right, Ron.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. If you're on the WebEx, you don't need to identify on just a call-in only. I see everybody. Karen Hill. Excellent. All right, good. I think we've got everybody that was here raising their hand. Those folks, all right. Excellent. And I see the folks up in Humboldt. Yay, thank you so much. And Paul E. and Ronette D. Excellent. Thank you. I want to thank everyone for sticking with us. I do know that it was a long one this time. I hope that you got some valuable information. If you haven't been teaching for a while or some of this information is new to you, please connect with your specialist so that we can help you through that. We do want to answer any questions that you have. I appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing you soon in a co-teaching. We will be having some in-person meetings coming up this spring, so I hope everyone can make it. The folks I haven't met in person yet, I'm looking forward to meeting you. And thank you very much. Have a great week. Thank you. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Susan.
Bye.
Have a good vacation.
Thank you, Therese. I don't know if you know you have your cat. That's okay. Now I know what you look like. I don't know. glad you were able to join us. I'm so glad that you're back. Thank you so much. You're still on mute. She's talking. It's okay. Don't worry about it. All right. I don't know. I can't hear what you're saying because you're still on mute, but I see you. Okay, bye. Oh. Like, how do I turn off the webcam? That's okay. I've done that before too. Don't worry. We've all been there. We've all been there. You know, we should actually have a meeting where everybody turns on their webcam, because then if you talk, we would be able to see you. So that's, I've done that with other people. Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be really funny.
All right. All right, I see we still have a few. I think I got everybody from the in Houston. Philip Sy, I see you raise your hand. William? Yeah, all right. All right, you guys. Then I want to thank you again, those of you who are still on the call. Thanks a lot, and thanks for listening and hanging in there. And I'll be talking to you guys soon. If you need anything, please reach out. I'm actually on PTO this week, but I'm always available if you need anything. So, have a good week. All right, I'm going to shut it down. Here I go.
Shut it down.
You guys are so great. Thank you so much. Oh, boy. All right. Thanks a lot.
The leader has disconnected. This call will now end.